Living. I'm Lelania, and these are my plant-powered peeps.
Hi, I'm Krista Richards.
My name is Gabriel, and we're here to talk about plant-powered living. The cool thing about plant-powered living is we're all here for vegetables. Essentially, we get all of our nutrients and everything we need just from plants.
Well, Krista, you've been a plant-powered person for a while, and I bet you the question everybody asks is, where do you get your protein?
That is actually one of the #1 questions I get, Lelania, and it's interesting because there is a myth that's cultivated out there that we only get our protein from animal products, or at the very least, that's the best way to get our protein. And in fact, nothing could be further from the truth. The creators of protein on planet Earth are actually plants. Plants are the only thing that can create protein, and it's through a process called photosynthesis. And so what we do here at Plant Powered Living, and all plant-powered people on planet Earth, is we go directly to the source to consume all the protein we could ever need, right here in this perfect little package.
We're talking about avocados because we're going to be making sexy chocolate mousse with the base of avocado. Gabriel, Chef Gabriel, why don't you tell us about that?
So today what we're going to make is a nice plant-powered mousse, which is essentially a chocolate mousse that's made with avocados instead of the dairy that's made with a normal mousse. And the thing about a non-dairy mousse that's great is we sort of get anybody who's lactose intolerant or anything of that sort can really enjoy this mousse. And although it has the fat of the avocado and it has a little bit of sugar from things, it's really the most healthy sort of mousse that you can get.
It is so good.
And it's really good and it's really satisfying. And so even when you're vegan or you eat a non-dairy sort of diet, when you're really craving sort of a nice sweet as a chocolate mousse, something really decadent, this is something that can really satisfy your sweet tooth in that way. And you don't feel too guilty about it. So it's kind of great in that way. And so what we're going to do right away is have the avocados and put them as a base in place of the dairy in the chocolate mousse. We're going to add the ingredients and then go from there.
Awesome. Well, let's do this. You can get started cutting up some avocados, and while you do that, I'm going to go back to the question I asked you earlier about protein, and I heard that avocados are a really good source of protein.
Yes, avocados actually, one small size avocado actually has more usable protein than an entire steak. Yeah, I know. It's insane.
It's totally crazy.
And they're actually bursting with nutrients.
Bursting
with nutrients. They have vitamins A, B, C, E, H, K, and folic acid. Folic acid is a fabulous vitamin, and it actually is essential for female health. And especially when women are pregnant, they need to make sure that they are intaking enough fruits and vegetables that contain folic acid. Avocados being one of them. And it's amazing to me how nature puts things in a package to let us know exactly when and why we should be consuming them.
So we have the avocados, and they're cut. Now what do we do?
Well, we have 3 avocados, cut them in half. What I'm going to do is kind of slice these and then take them out of the sort of shell container that they have. And then I'll put them in a food processor.
So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Can I ask you why you choose to slice them rather than just taking a spoon and scooping them out?
The reason that I end up slicing them is it seems like when I go around with the spoon, it depends on what kind of spoon you use, but the shape of the spoon, it kind of can just get the ingredients sort of out of the avocado shell a little bit better. It kind of scoops it up. I mean, you can do it any sort of which way you want. I just find that this is a little bit easier. And I get used to sort of slicing them in little squares like this, so that if I decide in the midst of making a mousse that somebody on the sidelines is saying, hey, I want a salad and I want to steal one of your avocado slices, they can just dice these out onto a salad or whatever else they want.
What I'd like to point out in regards to this method of slicing it like that, it's really great. If you do need to keep them intact into little squares, is you can just kind of like cut the edge like that, split it in half, and then very easily you can pop out.
Oh, wow.
You can
That's
just,
cool.
you pop them right out.
I want to try that.
So if you're making a salad or something like that and you want your avocados to look pretty and you don't want them to look all mushy, it's really simple. You slice it the way Gabriel was slicing it, cut it in half, pop it open, and they should pop right out. Now, if your avocado's
My goodness,
overripe,
it's pretty
if your
juicy.
avocado's overripe, it's not going to do it quite like this. It might be a little more difficult, but if it's a perfect ripeness, this is how it'll turn out.
Absolutely.
Do we put this in the food processor?
We do. I'm going to grab a spoon so that we can roll that in.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and start putting these in the food processor.
There's the best spoon here. So if you just roll a spoon around the...
Oh, I see.
I'm just going to do it here and be really slick about it.
All right.
Of course you are.
Just kind of roll it around the skin because you want to sort of make the mousse in a hurry because you want the end result to be there.
Because we're in a huge hurry.
Because at this point, we're done with avocados and we want mousse, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me just put this in here.
There you go.
Just put that in the food processor and we have it going.
Into the food processor.
So the important part of a mousse that you want is chocolate, right? Chocolate makes any sort of mousse, any sort of grilled dessert that you want something, unless it's a vanilla cake or something. I mean, you want chocolate, right? You have a dessert, you want it decadent, you need chocolate. So the best thing about chocolate is, I mean, it really does have a lot of antioxidants, really does make you feel fantastic when you eat it. The problem with chocolate is it has sort of this thought of being like high fat, like not very good for you sort of thing. So what I do is I use a natural dark chocolate, a dairy-free dark chocolate, not milk chocolate. It doesn't have any milk or dairy or anything in it. And I use a chocolate that is generally an organic chocolate, something good. Go to the expensive aisle of your supermarket and get something that costs a couple more bucks. And something that doesn't have dairy, and it's just pretty much straight chocolate. If you can read all the ingredients on it, it's like 4 ingredients, it's great. So the thing about this is it's a couple more bucks, but the thing is when you get the chocolate, I mean, it tastes fantastic. It is awesome chocolate. You get it and it's dark chocolate and it doesn't have a lot of sweetness to it. So a lot of times, you know, if you get 88% chocolate, 75% chocolate, it's something that's a little bit bitter to your taste buds. You let it melt in your mouth and it's fantastic. So we want to use this chocolate for the avocado mousse because the chocolate itself is going to melt well. It's not going to add extra sweetness, and it's just going to bring a chocolate punch to the whole party. And it really sort of like kicks up the avocado in a certain way that, you know, other chocolates won't do it. So get dark chocolate, no dairy, make it really good.
Cool, and I think that you have a really awesome way of making it look like that, don't you?
I do.
And what kind of chocolate did we select? Like you know, we went to the local grower here. Did we take care in choosing our chocolate as well today?
Yes, we did.
We did.
We got the endangered species chocolate. 10% of all net profits donated to help support species, habitat, and humanity.
You know, that's a good point. I really think that when you're buying chocolate, you know, you can get the cheap chocolate bar when you're spending the extra $1. Read what the chocolate ingredients are. You can get fair trade chocolate and make sure that it's really good for, you know, the people around the world who's harvesting the chocolate. Get organic chocolate, get vegan chocolate, gluten-free chocolate, all those things, and it'll say it on the back of the chocolate pack. But get something that, you know, is making a difference, and so you're not, you know, making harm on the rest of the world for having the chocolate.
That way your chocolate mousse is 110% guilt-free.
Guilt-free.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right, so
you're
here's
going to show us how to cut it
Here's
up.
my technique. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can pull the chocolate bar out of here. You can use a knife and sort of cut it. You want to be careful. You want to kind of break the chocolate up into different sections. What I end up doing is leaving it in the package like this. Take some heavy knife, the back of a cleaver or something, not the sharp side. Watch out, ladies.
All right.
And it's kind of loud, but I end up just banging on the back of it. Go this way, turn it just a little bit, go the other way. You can kind of manhandle it a little bit as long as you're not, you know, breaking the package a little bit. If you do that enough and you're really slick about it, you can open up the package and you pretty much have your chopped chocolate inside ready to go. So that's what I've done, and I put it in the bowl there, and we're ready to go. 2
bars of chocolate, 3 avocados. Let's go ahead.
The 2 bars of chocolate are 3 ounces each, so that's about like 6 ounces of chocolate or so.
All right, so now we have to melt the chocolate, is that correct?
Melt the chocolate. So here's what we're gonna do. Melting the chocolate, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. If you melt chocolate, you wanna do it at a really, really low heat. So we wanna use a double boiler. And in a double boiler, which most of us don't have, I just use a little pot with a little bit of boiling water, and then kind of a dish or a bowl. I use a glass one, it can be a metal one, over the top of that. And it sort of just slowly melts it without scorching it or getting too hot. So here's what we're gonna do over the stove here. We're gonna melt the chocolate.
All right, go for it, boy.
So what we have here is a saucepan that's just filled up with a little bit of water, and it's got a simmer below it. And we just put a basic sort of bowl over the top, and it can be a glass bowl or a stainless steel bowl. As you can see, we have glass here. And we just kind of add the chocolate to it. The important part is that we've got the chocolate not getting too scorched, and it's just going to melt under the boiling water. The nice thing about the chocolate here is you can kind of leave it unattended for a little while and not have to worry about it burning. Just give it a stir every once in a while and it'll slowly melt.
How's it doing over there?
Pretty good. We just got the chocolate melted and we are going to take it over here.
Awesome.
We're almost ready to go with this stuff, and we're going to dump it in the food processor with the avocado.
So does it matter if you get any water or anything in it on accident while you're melting it?
Well, when you're normally melting chocolate for something, you don't necessarily want to get water in there or water vapor, so you don't want to have a really hard boil or anything on the water. Just simmer it, take your time, melt the chocolate slowly, be gentle with it, and it works out good. So what we have now is we have in the food processor our avocado and of course our melted chocolate. And that's almost ready to go, except for I want to add a couple of ingredients. The main things are the chocolate and the avocado.
3 avocados, 2 bars chocolate.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I want to add a little bit of sweetener to this. Now generally the chocolate, being dark chocolate, doesn't have a lot of sweetener to it, so I want to add something that kind of gives it a little kick. I like to add 2 different things, and one of them is an agave syrup and one of them is a maple syrup. And the reason I add 2 of those is you can just add 1. You can add sugar if you want to. If you add a granulated sugar, then the food processor might not grind it up as much and it will be kind of grainy, so use something liquid. Agave syrup is really, really easy to find, and if you just use that, that's going to be great. Use enough to where it'll sweeten the amount that you do. It depends on the amount of chocolate that you use and the percentage of chocolate. On this one we used 88%, 85% chocolate, so it's kind of bitter. You want to use a little bit of extra sweetness. So what it does is it ends up playing on your tongue, meaning that the maple syrup has its complexities and its real depth and sweetness. And of course the agave syrup sort of has a lightness in its way that it plays on your tongue with sweetness. When you put the 2 together, it gives a really, really kind of diverse sweetness about it that you really want. That's what I do. It's okay to use one or the other. Any sort of liquid sweetener is fine. Now you can add it to taste. I use a couple of teaspoons of each. So if I'm using agave syrup, a couple teaspoons of each. The other ingredients I have, of course, are natural vanilla. Now, you can use vanilla extract, you know, the fake stuff, the imitation stuff, it's not that good. I use, on the batch that we're doing, about like, you know, a half a teaspoon or so. That gives it a nice kind of just good, rich flavor, and it's really good. Now, salt. Now, salt in desserts, most people don't think that that's something that you want to use, right? Like salt? Okay, we're making cookies, we have brownies, salt. Do you put that in there? Most baking recipes and everything, we use salt, right? And the thing about the salt is it actually does really, really work in sort of a dessert way. And it's in every dessert that we consume. And the reason that is because salt sort of brings out sort of a natural way about your taste buds and your tongue that allows your taste buds to open up for the way that the sugars work on your tongue. So you can have a little bit of sugar in there, you know, like the agave and the maple syrup, add just a pinch of salt and it'll make those flavors burst. So if we were to make this and not add salt, you'd kind of be missing something. Put a dash of salt and it makes the flavors pop.
And this salt that we're using today is Himalayan sea salts. So you can see it has a little bit of a pink color to it. Himalayan sea salt is actually the most nutritious salt that you can consume. It has the most nutrients. It has a lot of calcium in it and other minerals. So that's why we chose that. But any salt will do. We prefer sea salt, and tonight we have Himalayan.
So
should we add some salt?
We should.
Okay. How much?
Add a couple pinches of that.
I always get confused. What is a pinch? Like that?
A pinch is like that.
Okay.
However much you can pinch.
2 pinches?
Yeah. Here's the thing is it's always easy to add a little bit extra at the end than to take it out. So be cautious. At the end we can do it. The reason I use a food processor for this is it really does incorporate everything well.
All right.
Put the lid on.
And dance party!
So while they're being silly back here, of course, like, you want to keep this on for a little while. Watch it. You know, the chocolate's going to incorporate a little bit. Like the avocado is going to incorporate a little bit. And what you kind of want to be looking for is it just kind of gets whipped around. So you don't want any chunks in there. You want it to be like super smooth.
It looks super smooth.
Every once in a while, you probably want to stop it. If there's any chunks in the top, little avocado slices kind of, you know, hanging out in there or anything, just sort of scoop them from the side.
Incorporate them back into the
Incorporate them again. And then while you have the lid on, if you want a dance party, then that's perfectly fine.
Dance party!
We're making sexy chocolate moves.
So in the meantime, while we're doing all this stuff, I do have a bunch of, you know, blueberries and some strawberries. We got these organic local at the farmer's market. Those are going to be garnishes. We're going to make some really cool garnishes when we actually plate this up and put it in the fridge. It's going to be awesome. You guys are going to love it. So the question is, how do we know when it's done?
How do we know when it's done?
When it seems incorporated, when it seems like there's no chunks in there, when it seems like it's something you want to eat, it's probably done. All right, so here's the thing is, it's still gonna be sort of like, you know, warm, not hot because of the chocolate, but it's kind of set up. It's something that, you know, you'd want to eat right out of here, but don't just eat it right out of here. In the refrigerator.
In the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna leave you with these 3 bowls to get this all set up. And we're gonna take a little break. Leave you here by yourself. Is that cool?
Sounds good. I'll set this up. Why don't you join me in a minute?
We expect some delicious chocolate, sexy chocolate mousse when we get
Oh,
Yes.
you will.
All right. Bye.
The secret to this that's really fantastic is if you get a little zip top bag, like this type of thing here, find it at any store, kind of scoop it in to the bag, like so. Be careful because this is an exact amount. If you get any on your fingers, it's a terrible, terrible thing. You don't want to do that. So if you get some on your fingers, you may have to lick it off, which is not going to be necessarily a good thing. But in the meantime, we'll just put this off. It'll be good. So what I end up doing for this stuff here, I'll set this aside. If you put some in a little Ziploc bag, if you cut the end off with some scissors, like so, you can sort of just squeeze it right in there and it'd be nice and easy to go. What this does is sort of just like make it look nice, make it look good. The bowls look really good. So now we go to garnishing. So I'm gonna go over the fridge just for a second, grab some mint, and then do the blueberries and the strawberries, and we'll be right back. All right, so I've been hanging out for a little while, and I just took my mousse out of the fridge, and I brought back some mint, and I'm wondering where the girls are. They should be back for this pretty soon. But the best thing to do is, now that this is all chilled up, it's good and cold, and take about a half hour, you know, a little bit longer. It's up to your fridge. Anyway, we're gonna be taking this mint, and you wanna take sort of the top sprigs off of this. So you want the little pretty small ones on the top, you can see that. And you can take the little small ones and just sort of pinch it off with, sort of just sprig it down in there, and it looks fantastic. So you got all those 3 going. Hide the mint so they don't get more, and then we move on to strawberries, which these are not. And put on the non-strawberries like that. And of course these are non-organic non-strawberries. And then of course we have blueberries, and these things are fantastic. So once we go on with the non-blueberries, put these suckers on, cut the tops off, like so. Cut them, cut them, cut them. And just arrange a couple on the top so you get them like that. All right, I'm gonna do the rest of those. And I think that the girls are probably really gonna like this wherever they may be. So, that's kind of what you got. Right.
Wow.
How's it going?
Oh, wow.
Fabulous.
This
So,
looks very fabulous.
I've got some mousse here, and you fabulous ladies have helped me make this, and you know, I wanted to share the bounty of you know, sexy.
Well, we
chocolate
thought we
mousse.
would slip into something a little more comfortable since this is sexy chocolate mousse, so that we can enjoy this properly.
That it is, and not only with the mousse that I have for us to enjoy. I'm gonna grab a couple spoons, but I got a little something for the two of you as well.
Aww, sweet. You're so romantic.
So I hope you enjoy. And of course, this is plant-powered living, and we wanted to make some sexy chocolate mousse, not only for you guys, but for us and the ladies as well. And
Do you have some spoons so we can?
I do. We're gonna taste it. It's gonna be
All
good.
right, let's taste it. I'll get them.
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.
Wow.
If you really want to make a good chocolate mousse, dairy-free, feels good, non-guilty.
This is
That's
absolutely
the way
amazing.
Oh my goodness.
This
This is
is
going to be a really good night.
Heavenly.
That's the way to do it. PlantPoweredLiving.com. Check us out. This is going to be a great thing. Come back again and see us.